On January 3, 2026, sudden U.S. military strikes hit Caracas, leading to the immediate capture of Nicolás Maduro. Observers around the world watched the operation and expected the Venezuelan government to instantly shatter. But the state machine didn't miss a beat. Within 48 hours, Vice President Delcy Rodríguez stepped up, swearing in as the acting president and maintaining the government's grip on power. Removing the figurehead at the top of a hybrid authoritarian system does not automatically dismantle the deeply rooted institutional base that supports it. This chart shows the rapid economic results of the new administration. Projections for 2026 hit 12.1% GDP growth, paired with a staggering 192% spike in oil exports to the United States. At the exact same time, nearly 2 million Venezuelans remain categorized as needing urgent humanitarian food assistance. The government is celebrating record-breaking export revenues, while the domestic population faces systemic starvation. The 2026 economic miracle is a top-down illusion. The state's balance sheet is recovering, but the domestic economy remains hollowed out. With foreign companies returning to operate joint ventures, Venezuelan crude production has crossed back over the threshold of 1 million barrels per day. For the Rodríguez administration, this singular stream of crude oil revenue is the lifeline keeping the government financially afloat. This graph reveals the divide. As foreign oil exports climb, local currency purchasing power crashes on the right. Hyperinflation is approaching 600%. This means a basic monthly food basket now costs $586, a price point entirely out of reach for average citizens. In local markets, average people are simply priced out of everyday survival staples. The hydrocarbon revival successfully balances the government's budget, while effectively excluding the domestic population from the recovery. To secure that foreign investment, the government needed to project international legitimacy. They passed a sweeping amnesty law, releasing over 600 political prisoners. The legal system operates as a revolving door. Prisoners are released under strict gag orders, while security forces quietly funnel new dissidents into the system. A UN mission documented 87 new politically motivated arrests in the months immediately following the January 3rd strikes. Those new detainees disappear straight into the country's existing intelligence network, held in notorious facilities like El Helicoide. The regime trades calculated prisoner releases for diplomatic cover, keeping its vast domestic apparatus of terror fully operational. The government introduced a new mining law in April, explicitly designed to lure foreign corporate investment for critical minerals like gold, silver, and coltan. They strategically branded this initiative as a commitment to ecological mining development. Inside the Orinoco mining arc, however, the corporate veneer vanishes into unregulated deforestation and primitive open-pit devastation. These territories are not regulated by state inspectors. They are controlled by a violent patchwork of guerrilla groups like the ELN and corrupt military networks. The state is effectively leasing its sovereignty to armed syndicates. For eager foreign investors, the new legal framework hides a massive risk of complicity in money laundering and human rights abuses. The most visible evidence of this confusing transition is playing out at the borders. After a decade of mass exodus, migration patterns have reversed. This area chart plots a historic inflection point. Return movements now make up 57% of cross-border flow, drastically outpacing those leaving the country. Migrants are being lured back by the headlines of booming GDP growth and a desperate desire for family reunification. But they arrive to find a fractured public sector, a struggling power grid, and almost zero social safety nets to absorb them. The sudden influx of returning citizens is a symptom of the false hope generated by state propaganda, rather than proof of actual national healing. The events of early 2026 removed a dictator, but they did not result in a democratic revolution. They forced an institutional recalculation. The authoritarian state avoided collapse by rapidly trading its crude oil, its mineral rights, and carefully timed batches of prisoners to the highest foreign bidders. As the country marches toward 2027, it is trapped between a lucrative pro-market facade and a deeply unequal repressive reality. The government successfully engineered a pivot to save itself. Whether that pivot will ever benefit the Venezuelan people remains an entirely different question.